Hey, what's going on, guys? James here bringing you another YouTube video, and this one is going to be, finally, my DPW You Already Know review. So the first thing to mention is, of course, DPW You Already Know is, at the time of recording this, a week past. It aired live just last week. And I do want to mention, we didn't get to see everything that was announced, but things happened, people had to pull out of the show. Kind of sucks. But nonetheless, they made the most out of what they had and put on a really good show. A really good, about 2.5 hour, 8-match show. And it kicked off with a really sick intro. It was a really good intro to the pay-per-view. And then the first match was Kid Bandit versus Ho-Ho Loon. They put on a really solid match. Ho-Ho Loon showed that even though Kid Bandit has only been wrestling for about 6 months, which I guess would be like about 7 months now, but that's not the point. Ho-Ho Loon had Kid Bandit scouted in quite a few ways, showing that he has more experience than Kid Bandit, but Kid Bandit got back into it, aka the People's Elbow, but they did a Naruto run when going off the ropes. It was cool. It was cool, and it was a really solid match. And then Kid Bandit cut another good, endearing promo, and that transitioned seamlessly into the triple threat between Lucky Ali, Donnie Ray, and Diego Hill, as Lucky Ali came out from out of nowhere and laid out Kid Bandit with a steel chair to the back, cut his own promo, which was also good, and then it was interrupted by Donnie Ray. They started brawling before Diego Hill slid into the ring and laid them both out with a very nice plancha over the top rope. And that triple threat was really good. All three guys looked really good. Diego, again, just like against Kevin Koo, he looked really good, hitting some really big high-flying moves, some really nice kicks, and just overall put on a really good performance. Donnie Ray, again, he showed up. His big standout moment were his kicks. Like, if I had to watch a match purely based on people kicking the shit out of each other, dude, give me Donnie Ray and Bryan Danielson. Just let them just kick each other the entire match. I would pay for that. And Lucky Ali, of course, is just really good at what he does. Safe to say, he's really good at what he does, and he won with the Snow Bunny Splash from the top rope. And then from there we had women's action, and this was one of 2 matches that was built up prior to the pay-per-view. Now, everything on the show, sort of, was announced, but there was only 2 that really built off from what they did on Fire. And the first one is Rachel Rose, the Queen of House Rose, versus KZT. And Rachel Rose is, what I want to say is one of the few characters on the show who has like a definite character, I guess. Like, say Kid Bandit, for example, is like tried and true babyface. Rachel Rose is tried and true heel. And there's not a lot of people on DPW that have one or the other specifically. But Rachel Rose absolutely is that as well, tried and true heel. We saw the DPW towel guy in the crowd also bending the knee again, and then having the crowd chant simp at him. But, I mean, come on. Anyway, not the point at all. This was a good match again. Rachel Rose tried to run away. She tried to just cause separation, while also doing the very heelish thing of not taking accountability for the things you did. It's like, I didn't do anything. What are you talking about? Oh, we know what you did. We know what you did. But now it was cool. I liked it. Liked it a lot. And then the match ended with a very cool sequence, which was KZT going from one submission to another, locking in 4 submissions in a row, and just seamlessly transitioning to all 4 of them, and eventually got the win. And that leads us into the second ever DPW Battle Royal. This one also bigger. Instead of 8, we have 10. Just like good old Ty Dillinger back in the day. Perfect 10. I mean, okay, maybe not perfect 10, but it was a really solid match overall. It kicked off with Josh Fuller and Tenchi X. And then DPW's resident ass kicker Calibus Kingston came out. And before number 4 came out, he would also hit another version of a pile driver on, this time Tenchi X, not Kid Bandit, but it was brutal. Very, very brutal. Caleb Kingston is just a straight up ass kicker. Kind of very enjoyable to watch in a way though. And then Skylar Mack comes out. We have Jamaica and Canada. And Skylar Mack immediately just starts teeing off, and like they kind of had the Kevin Owens Sami Zayn spot where they would just like start throwing hands. They would just lock up. They would just lock up and just start throwing hands. And that was really cool. Then from there, we had Wavy Will Wolfen making his DPW debut. And he looked good. He would later hit a very nice frog splash on Calabas Kingston as well. But we'd also see BK Westbrook, aka Starboy. And he's got a cool kind of narcissistic character a little bit. Got a lot of charisma. By the time the two women in the Battle Royal came out, Kat Spencer and Sawyer Wreck, he tried to team up with each one of them, and that did not work. Both women just shoved him away. It's like, no. We don't need to team up with you. Kat Spencer was also the next entrant after BK Westbrook. She looked good. And then after her was very weird, very creepy Yusufer. I don't know what to say. He quickly eliminated Skylar Mack, who then tried to retaliate using the hockey stick Canadian flag combo. That didn't work, and Yusufer eliminated himself and literally started chasing after Skylar Mack, and the camera just followed him as Skylar was running away, running up the steps in the venue in Raleigh. That was pretty amusing, I gotta say. It was amusing. After Yusufer was Sawyer Wreck, who again looked really good, getting a lot of eliminations actually. She looked really, really good. And of course, the last person for the second ever DPW Battle Royal, the same as the first DPW Battle Royal, the last man was Luther, the original Hog Dipper. And again, Luther, there's not much else to say really. He didn't look as good on this one, but still looked good enough. Tried to do something to, I want to say, Calabas Kingston, if I remember right, who just kind of like hotshot him on the top rope and sent Luther to the outside. And then right after, that would lead to an elimination again by Sawyer Wreck, getting another elimination. And then after that, it was the final two, Sawyer Wreck, Josh Fuller. Also, need to say, Josh Fuller kept trying to hit the overdrive numerous times throughout the entire match, and I really want him to hit it. I really want him to hit the overdrive. He did not hit it in this match, though. Once again, he tried to hit it for a final time, this time on Sawyer Wreck. She turned it around and got Josh Fuller over the top rope. Mikey Banker tried to interfere, catching Josh Fuller, but he did not catch him. He hit the floor, and Sawyer Wreck was the winner. And yeah, it was fine. Again, she looked really good. This match was just fun, as Battle Royals always seem to be. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. It was a really fun match, and I don't have a complaint. And then we were supposed to see Gringo Loko versus Frightmare and Colby Carino versus Alex Colon. But instead, we did get a hardcore match, but it ended up being Colby Carino and Gringo Loko. And this match, it was just crazy. It was a pretty inventive hardcore match, at least for someone who's not too familiar with hardcore wrestling. And yeah, there was a lot of crazy stuff. Gringo Loko looked really good. Colby looked good as well. And we saw some pretty brutal stuff, which it ended, and the match ended up ending with a pile driver on a table that was draped across the ropes and a chair. And by table, I mean door. It was a door. They didn't use tables. They used the doors like tables, but it was still a door. Anyway, not the point. Colby Carino got the win. But again, a lot of really good action, and if you can, and you have not already, check out You Already Know in full. And if you can't, on the Deadlock Pro channel, which of course, link in the description of all the DPW videos I do, they do have a what they call preview, but really it's just highlights of each match and highlights of the entire pay-per-view. At the very least, check that out if you can't watch You Already Know in full. But after the hardcore match, we move on to what, for me, was the match of the night, and that is Calvin Tankman versus Blake Christian. And this match, what can I say? It was just a really good match. Blake Christian looked very, very good. Calvin Tankman is a goddamn beast. And Calvin Tankman got a very, very good, very well-deserved win. And Blake Christian also came out of it looking really good as well. And the big thing I want to take out of this was two things. One, I really want to see Blake Christian versus Diego Hill. Two, I want to see Bojack versus Calvin Tankman. But yeah, this match was really, really good. And again, I am kind of like skimming through the matches just because, like, I don't want to say too much in case you do want to watch the show yourself, and you can. I don't want to spoil too much. I want you to be able to I want to get my thoughts out, but also leave the opportunity for you to watch the show yourself and get that experience still. Then we had some Joshi wrestling from Yu versus Ryo Mizunami. And it was a really good match. Again, just really solid action through and through. Lots of chops. Let me tell you that. Lots of chops. And Ryo Mizunami got the win with a guillotine leg drop. But yeah, really good. And I was going to say as well, it's really nice to see just like quite a bit of women's action. You know, we got 2 straight up women's matches. And then we also had very strong women presence in the Battle Royal as well. It's really nice to see. And they got a lot of time too. I think that's another important one to add. Not only did they get matches, but they got the time as well. But of course, main event, DPW World Heavyweight Championship, the end of the Eliminator Tournament, final match. Andrew Everett, Bojack. And this, I may not consider it my favorite of the night, but it's absolutely like just underneath Blake Christian and Calvin Tankman. It's a really, really good match. It's constantly back and forth. Andrew Everett, he makes you think he's gonna get the win, of course. So does Bojack. And it's just so damn good. Andrew Everett takes his high flying up to even new heights because, you know, they're not in the tiny building like they were for Fire. He goes off the top rope. Again, it is so damn good. But in the end, Bojack would move out the way of a 630 senton, go off the ropes, nail him with a lariat to get a near fall. But right after Andrew kicked up, Bojack immediately got him up and hit him with the Bojack Bomb for the 1, 2, 3. And Bojack is the first DPW World Heavyweight Champion. And yeah, that was great. Really, really good stuff. And after that, I do have some other points. Of my pros for the show, we have DPW for just starting in late 2021. They have such good production quality, very high quality shows. And honestly, they might just be like really up there for like best production of indie promotions. It's really good. Another pro is that the opener was a fun match, which again then seamlessly flowed into the triple threat. KCT and Rachel Rose was good, and also was one of the 2 matches on the show that was built up on Fire before starting the pay-per-view. The Battle Royal, again, was really fun, and like I said earlier in the video, I really want to see Josh Fuller hit the overdrive. Again, the hardcore match was fun and inventive, and just really, really solid overall. Calvin Tankman is a beast, like I said before, and put on the match of the night with Blake Christian, at least in my opinion. If you preferred a different match when you watch the show, let me know. And like I also said as well, I want to see Calvin Tankman versus Bojack, and I want to see Blake Christian versus Diego Hill. Again, The only note I have for Rio and you is just lots of chops. Lots of chops. But it was a good match. And then, of course, with the main event, like I said, it was a really good match. And I want to know what's next for Andrew Everett. What's next for the big dog? Because after the show, it ended with Andrew Everett, one, refusing a handshake from Bojack, and then Chris Danger just sliding up next to him in the back. Of course, just hands him his jacket. And you can tell that Chris wants to get Andrew Everett into the NDA. Will he? I don't know. But I want to see where that goes. And the only con I have for the show was, again, that we just didn't get to see everything announced. But like I said, they made the most out of it, and they had things that you just can't prevent, sadly. But yeah, like I said, we didn't get to see everything announced, but they made the most out of it, and can't fault them for something they can't prevent. So it's not even really a con. And then I do have, like, one other takeaway, and that's, it's clear that DPW has very few true babyface and heel dynamics. Is that good or bad? That's up to each individual to decide. I don't think it's bad. I think not only in wrestling, just in life, we really are past, like, straight up, like, good and evil, you know? There's not a whole lot of people you can say, like, this person's just straight up just an awful human being, but this person is, like, a shining beacon of society. There's always shades of gray. And, of course, never is that more evident than in wrestling. And it's also nice with more and more just shades of gray when you do see, like, someone who is just an absolute just prick, or someone who is, you know, just a true babyface. Like, it's great to see all the shades of gray, but then you have, like, the kind of standouts with, like, Kid Bandit and Rachel Rose. That's just a takeaway. Neither good nor bad. It's what you make of it, and you can decide whether it's good or bad. I don't think it is. But yeah, that is everything I really have to say on DPW You Already Know. I know I didn't really go in depth, and I'm not going to put any footage for this video because that wouldn't feel right. Fire I did because, you know, one, the guys gave us permission to do that, and two, it's all free footage that anyone can watch anyway. But with You Already Know, obviously, you have to pay for the show because it is a pay-per-view, and I know it sucks for people who can't watch the show, and I feel bad for you. But yeah, I'm not going to put any footage in here. Maybe screenshots. I still haven't decided at the time of recording. But yeah, that's all I gotta say for You Already Know. If you can and have not, check it out. It's a really solid show. And if you can't, at the very least, check out the pay-per-view preview on the Deadlock channel. It's a really solid show. I really enjoyed it, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye, guys.